Hi, welcome back to Burning River Bushcraft. We're going to continue on our Survival Firearms Series with the classic American side-by-side. The classic American side-by-side shotgun is the high watermark in firearms technology. Some of the key features of this shotgun is the fact that it was an internal hammer. So we did not have the external hammer that's really common on single-shot shotguns, as well as some of the earlier side-by-sides. Now what that does, it gives you a smoother gun, less likely to have a hammer catch on brush. Also, less action going on by your face. It lets you concentrate on shooting. They also are going to feature a thumb safety on the tang. That's much safer than having to cock a hammer manually, and then if you choose not to fire, now you've got to ease forward the hammer. Another key feature with this is the fact that it has two triggers. So you can fire your right barrel, left barrel, depending on which trigger you pull. Now this makes this type of firearm ultra reliable. So essentially what I have here is two single shot shotguns soldered together. So the barrels are completely independent. I have two different chokes that I can choose, and I have two complete different trigger groups that are stacked side by side in each other. This particular shotgun is a Stevens 311A. This one was sold through the Sears and Roebuck company, so it was stamped J.C. Higgins. So this is a very common shotgun. This is ultra common man here. This firearm does not have ejectors. So what's going to happen when you fire your shells, they lift up and let you extract them manually. So again, they do not kick out. That is very common on a lot of single shots and over and under shotguns. That lets you always save your hulls. So I am a reloader, so that's something I'm always going to be conscious of. And another thing, that you don't litter up the ground. So for a modern sportsman, that's really not that much of a disadvantage. Now I made this statement earlier when I was talking about an over and under shotgun. With me doing the shooting, I am going to eat twice as much with a double barrel shotgun as opposed to a single shot. Especially on flying birds, your lead may not be exact. The second you pull that trigger, you know the error of your ways, and that lets you make an instant correction. So it's not always needed, but it's definitely handy. Also, we're very close to squirrel season here, so you see the thick canopy behind me that I have to work with. So a lot of times with a single shot shotgun, I don't always get to place my pattern exactly where I want to, just because of leaves and limbs and everything else. I can't be that selective. So with a side-by-side, that gives me a quick follow-up shot to anchor a wounded squirrel. So among the key advantages to the side-by-side shotgun is going to be reliability. Like I said, the fact that I don't have to select my left barrel, right barrel, I have triggers just waiting to be pulled, is a huge advantage to me. Another advantage is the choke variability. This particular shotgun is choked modified full. They were real common to always stagger your chokes, so a close range gun usually had a shorter barrel and it would have been improved cylinder modified. Theory with that is, if you're a rabbit hunter or something in thick brush, you know, a rabbit might jump 20 yards in front of you, you want your improved cylinder choke to be your first barrel. If you miss, or if there was multiple rabbits, next one out's going to be 10 yards farther, so let's tighten up the choke a little bit. Same concept with the longer barreled field guns. Usually modified full was very common. When this gun was popular, modern wads did not exist, so the one-piece plastic wad didn't exist. So guns were usually choked tighter back in the day to get a killable pattern at a decent range. Another huge advantage with the side-by-side shotgun is simplicity. Again, nothing to clean on this. All you do, open it up. You can run a bore snake, run a stick with a rag, run a toggle and pull a rag through each bore. Disassembly, this is along the same lines as a single shot. You know, they come right apart. That's why I put this in the survival firearm realm. You know, your key component is going to be your barrel. So as long as your barrel is, that's going to be how long your shotgun's going to fold down to. So along with the variability of chokes, you also have the variability of loads. So just say I happen to have a number 6 in for squirrel hunting, and it was duck season, ducks flying over. If I actually switched over to a heavier steel load, you know, I have the gun open and unoperable that entire time. In this situation, I can stack my barrel. Say I'm pheasant hunting, rabbit hunting, I can have a rabbit load in my more open barrel, and keep in mind I'm going to pull that trigger first. If a pheasant flushes, I can have a longer range load in my second barrel. I should have time by then to process what's happening and go back and pull my rearmost trigger. Another advantage to the side-by-side shotgun is the ability to use like a short lanes arm chamber mate, where I could have either a sub 12 gauge load in here or a pistol caliber or a 22 long rifle in one barrel and still be hunting the entire day with a standard 12 gauge load on the other side. So that gives me much more versatility. If I'm running the trap line and I happen to jump a rabbit, I've got my normal 12 gauge shotgun with me. If I have a animal in the trap that needs dispatch, no messing around, I'm sitting on a loaded 22 in its neighboring barrel. Now, my dad always favored side-by-side shotguns. As a kid, that's all he used. One of the advantages that he claimed, because he was a duck hunter, was that when you open a side-by-side to load the shotgun, especially in confines of a blind or a boat, it's very minimal movement, as opposed to an over and under, where obviously you've got to clear the bottom barrel so your gun angles over that much more. So that's a key component for him anyway to the side-by-side shotgun. So of course there's some disadvantage to the side-by-side shotgun. Number one is going to be cost. Obviously they're going to cost more than a comparable condition single shot shotgun. Now I've seen these just last week, this exact same model, $200 out the door. This particular gun, I think I paid 165 bucks for it. You got to drive around and you've got to be willing to put up with some stuff. This obviously is not a show condition shotgun, but I am completely fine with that. Another disadvantage obviously is weight. The gun's going to be heavier than a single shot. You've got two 30-inch pipes that you're carrying around the woods as opposed to one. The action's a little bit thicker. However, the barrel on these guns are generally thinner than most modern sporting firearms. Another disadvantage to the classic side-by-side shotgun is the fact that you do have two triggers to operate. So safety is going to go off, you're going to fire the shotgun, now you have to manually move your hand back and pull the second trigger. That's not that big a deal. It's something you're going to learn within the first couple shots, and you'll remember that for the rest of your life. Probably I would say the last disadvantage to the side-by-side shotgun is going to be recoil. They do tend to recoil a little bit more than an over and under and a lot of the other modern firearms. The reason for that is the two barrels are directly in line with you, so you're going to get full recoil back at yourself. With the over and under, the bottom barrel is actually lower than center of gravity to drive the gun back into your shoulder so you still have your sight picture. The top barrel is higher than your center of gravity, and that causes the gun to lift. After you've shot two shells, you're kind of out of the game anyway. With a side-by-side, both guns, both barrels are going to be regulated to the same height, so you need to keep a sight picture the entire sequence. So both barrels are coming right back at you. Not that big a deal with shot, but if you were going to use slugs in this shotgun, the fact that the barrels are kind of slanted into each other, there's going to be a certain point that they're regulated to. That means early on in the game, your left barrel is going to be hitting on the left side of your pattern. There's going to be a certain point that it is dead center middle, and then it's going to carry over to the right side. But shooting shot at game, that is completely irrelevant. You put an animal on the bead, you squeeze the trigger, you're going to be eaten. So if you get the chance and you see a piece of American history, go ahead and pick it up. This is a great shotgun. You will love a side-by-side. There's nothing quite as old school cool as rolling around with two barrels stacked horizontally. This is Jamie Boggs with Burning River BushCraft. See you next time.